Your phone.
Oh, as if. Okay. Okay.
This is my audience for my communication speech. Will everyone please say hello to my professor?
Hi, Professor.
Okay. I think I have more than 5 people. So. Okay. We're ready?
Ready.
I'd like to talk to you today about a condition that has bothered me for about 10 years. I suffer from something called a disease called rheumatoid arthritis. Many of us, the older members, may know what arthritis is. It's eMedicine Canada says 1 in 100 Canadians suffer from rheumatoid arthritis. That means about 300,000 people have the disease. It's a very serious disease because what it does, you know, it's a disease that affects your joints and limbs, and I'll talk about that as I go further into my little speech. However, with early detection, proper medical care, and also healthy living, you can live a pretty healthy life. What I'll do is I'll take a few questions when I'm done. I just want to try to get through for my prof here. Okay. Women are 3 times more likely to have the disease than men. And it normally affects people from the ages of 25 to 50. However, small children are also one of the most recent stats that they're finding that kids are having children's rheumatoid arthritis. I'm going to talk about today 3 different subjects, and I'll be real brief on them. What is rheumatoid arthritis? Understanding rheumatoid arthritis, and living with rheumatoid arthritis. All right, first, rheumatoid arthritis is a lifelong disease with no cure. No one knows what triggers someone to have rheumatoid, but what they think that it's genetics. And what happens with genetics is something will trigger a condition you have inside your body, and it'll be, cause your disease. You know, I was a former college football player, and I ran up and down the streets. I held a job where I did a lot of different things before I became, afflicted with rheumatoid. So when you see me with my walker and everything, it wasn't always that way. And most of us who have trouble with rheumatoid, have lived, very strong lives and productive lives, and we're learning how to be productive again. Okay, what happens is that your body becomes confused when it starts to attack an ailment. By that I mean your immune system attacks your joints. And as you see in my hands here, as it attacks my joints become red, they become swollen, and they become difficult to do simple tasks. I have trouble buttoning my shirt, I have trouble cutting salads, I have trouble cutting my meat, I have trouble writing on a 4x6 card, and that was what I was supposed to use for my notes here, but since I can't write, I had to have him write for me. It really gives some problems with you. Okay, arthritis.org says that there's over 100 different types of arthritis, but rheumatoid is different because, like I say, it attacks your immune system. Your immune system becomes confused when something's going on in your body, and it attacks your joints. That leads me to some of the early signs of what happens with rheumatoid. What happens when you get rheumatoid is that your joints start to swell, they become red, they become very painful. And when you wake up in the morning, you have trouble getting out of bed, always tired. You tend to lose a little weight. In my case, maybe my medications cause me to gain weight. And you just kind of get that feeling of the blouse and what's going to happen down the road. Because, so some of us know if we've gone through any kind of ailments and any kind of things, you wonder what's the next step and how do I fight it. As I get to the 3rd part of my speech, I'll talk about fighting it. Okay? Rheumatoid is much different, again, like I said, because it is an autoimmune disease. The signs of it, like I said, the stiffness. Later on, you find things like neuropathy. Neuropathy is you lose feelings in your hand and your feet. And if you have some of those early signs and they last more than 2 weeks, you want to contact your doctor or your healthcare physician or something, because rheumatoid has been a burden on Canadian health by $2 billion a year. See, the health of the department here spends over $2 billion a year fighting or working with people with rheumatoid arthritis. One of the things that you also think about is living with the disease. When you live with the disease, you have to understand yourself is the big thing. I found out from having rheumatoid and having been healthy and doing a lot of positive things, I had to accept what I'd become. And I've decided to not let it define me. I'll hear people ask me, you're not moving too well, or if they don't know me, they may not understand what's happening. And as the disease tends to progress, I find that I'm not moving as well as I can. However, living with the disease, what you have to do is you have to stay active. You have to stay active. You have to do things like stretch, use some heat when your joints are stiff, and when your joints swell, do some things like some cold compress, some cold ice packs. I found that having the disease, one of the other things that helps, and the major thing that helps with any kind of ailment we go through, is a positive mind. That's probably why I try to laugh a lot. I crack jokes with people, even if I don't know you. People, the ladies here that know me, and the gentlemen, Wally, and the people here know that I'm always going to say something silly and be funny. Why? Because I may be in pain, but I don't have to show you I'm in pain or I don't have to put my pain on you. Because if I'm staying positive and upbeat, you may see me limping around and say, well, if he big fella's doing it, I can do it too. So that's the thing that I always want to pass on about anyone living with rheumatoid or any kind of disease or any kind of ailment is be positive. All right. Last one, what I'd like to say is that, again, rheumatoid is a stiffening or an autoimmune disease, and it affects 1 in 100 Canadians in the country. $2 billion or 300,000 people have the disease. However, with positive living, early detection, healthy, and doing the proper things to stay strong, you can live a very successful life with RA. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll let you know what my grade is.
Does the weather affect your arthritis?
Yes, it does. It affects it, and a lot of times when it's humid, when it's cold, all those different things, they really affect what happens. I notice a difference when I'm in Michigan or even about 3 hours down into the States versus being around the water. When I'm around the water, I don't know if it's the humidity or something, because I didn't understand. Well, I'll go to Lansing and all at once I'm not as swollen, or I'll go like different areas where it may not be as humid, but around the water here, yeah, it does affect it. Any other, please, since I got you, anybody have any other little questions? Anybody here have rheumatoid or any other kind of arthritis?
I think I do.
Yeah, you do, honey.